Satnam Aloha. So I'm wishing you the best, you watching, and remember whatever state you're in right now is perfect for you and your awakening. You're going through a huge awakening. So Jupiter, the big brother of Earth, is coming at a retrograde in the 49th gate of revolution, and this happens on Monday, on October 18th. So what's really interesting here is way back, rewind to 2020 when I did my 2021 predictions webinar, Jupiter was in the 19th gate with Mercury in the 49th gate, right, making the channel of independence. So this channel overall is going through a huge mutation in the human species. And what does it mean? It means we're becoming more self-reliant and less dependent upon outside authorities and institutions for our survival. So Jupiter going direct in the 49th gate of revolution indicates to me an important transit that we're entering into until November 24th, 2021. So to expand out, we're in an important cycle leading up to 2027 that I talk about in my webinar, the 2027 webinar. And if we go and look at the 2020 chart, right, it indicated that we would experience health issues related to our karmic past. And we would be emotionally driven by health concerns. Check, right? The chart does not lie. It's all there in the chart. And then in 2021, right, if you look at the chart, we were emotionally driven to think for ourselves or not, because we live in a plane of duality. There's always a yes, there's always a no, there's always a this, there's always a that. So according to the 2021 chart, we were learning, well, we're still learning because we're still in 2021, to discern what is true for us and what is not. So we've been under a powerful conditioning transit, being bombarded by the thoughts and opinions of others, being flooded by information, right? And sorting through this truth or not. So this flood of information can overwhelm the mind, and this will influence the behavior of people or not. So this is a mind control technique that I talked about in my other video, but it's also part of the energies of this year. So I took a quick look, right, at the 2022 chart, the year that's coming up, and it looks a lot more positive, right? So this will give us information on the energies that we'll be working with and how to best align with them. So I'll be presenting a 4-hour plus webinar. It may go longer, I don't know. And this will happen on November 14th on a Sunday. So there's an early bird price of 25% off until October 27th. So be sure to be part of this, because knowledge is power, and understanding the energies and where we're headed really is empowering for us as individuals, right? How to navigate through this neutrino stream. Okay, so let's go back to Jupiter in the 49th gate of revolution. This is also the gate of rebirth, right? So humanity has been thinking and communicating about how our system has been working or not, right? This year, because Mercury was in the 49th gate, right? So how things have to change. And what no longer works, right? What's worked before and no longer works. That's the mantra for the Aquarian age. So the 49 and the 19 make up the channel of independence. And this rules how our tribe works or our society works, right? So the 19 says, right, the pressure, because it's coming from the root chakra, says, I need food, I need shelter, I need clothing, I need an education, I need a partner in life, I need a job, I need money, basically. And then the 49, right, the rulers of the tribe says, well, we'll give you all of that, but you must follow these principles, and we'll accept you into our society, right? So you got your religion, you got your job, you got your marriage, You got your education, you got your training, which were based on certain principles based on our humanity. You know, being cooperative, getting along, contributing to the system through our money and our energy and our time. And this is how we fit into society, right? There's a bargain there. Now, this is all changing for the Aquarian age, right? Our society is being completely restructured. So that our principles are changing. They're no longer rooted in our humanity. So here's the 19, right? And it has its survival needs. But now the 49 is saying, well, we won't accept you into this new society until you put this into your body, right? We'll tell you what you can eat, right? We're moving towards more of a plant-based, lab-grown food source. We'll tell you where and when you can move and travel. We'll tell you what you can own. We'll tell you what you can spend your money on, right? And the deadline, right? You have a certain time frame when you can spend that money. We'll tell you what jobs you can do, since AI will be taking over. We'll determine your worth. The more obedient you are, the more credits you'll receive. Right? The new principles are not based on our humanity. They're based on our ability to become the perfect machine, right? Which makes us the perfect slave to this new system. So this is about making us utterly dependent on this new system. And if you don't accept these new principles, then we'll reject you from this new society, right? So this channel is breaking down, right? It's breaking down for the Aquarian age, but we're looking at it from a lower frequency energy. So remember, each one of us, we're in a spiritual test, right? So reflect on your principles. Do they align with this new world, right? Jupiter going direct says, are you willing to act on your principles? Are you willing to stand up for your principles? Right? What's your line in the sand? And this 2-year gap from 2020 on, it's been a real blessing in many ways because it's given us the time and the space to really reflect on our values, right? What are our values? What's important to us? What are our core beliefs, right? How do we want to create this new earth for the Aquarian age? And I've been hearing stories, you know, from people and talking about like their work colleagues are being, you know, bribed or whatever, or incentivized by, okay, if you work overtime, we'll give you more money, we'll do this, we'll do that for you. And they're like, no, there's not enough money in the world for me to continue doing this job because it's not aligned with who I am. Right? So stuff like this is happening in the world. And of course, it's not being reported, right? So you have to remember that you have a say in how this goes, right? The ego would have us believe that we're too little, right? We're too small and this is too big, right? We've got no power. And that's not true. Never underestimate the power of the individual, the power of your authentic self to create change. So this channel of independence says we're all being reborn to become our authentic self. It's a rebirth, right? And we're in the birth pains now. And this is the highest frequency of this channel. And yes, right, it's true, people will go along to get along because they have no principles, right? Only the principles that have been taught to them, right? But it's not in their destiny to individuate in this lifetime. It's not everybody's destiny to become their authentic self in this lifetime. They're like the non-player characters in video games, right? It's just about timing. It's not you're more evolved and you're better than other people. It's just timing, right? We're all ending up in the same place eventually. So remember the age of Aquarius. Aquarius has no centralized power, right? It's the collective leading the collective. So the ancient ruler of Aquarius is Saturn, and the modern ruler is Uranus, right? So the influence of Saturn is waning for the Aquarian age. And Saturn has ruled this planet for thousands of years, right? Saturn's repression, its hierarchies, its fear, its institutions, its gravity, its limitation. All this grip, the Saturn grip, is lessening for the Aquarian age, right? So we're seeing this white knuckling of the Saturnian energy trying to hold on to control, right? Saturn is about control. And here's Uranus, the great awakener, the great liberator, right? It's gaining momentum. Saturn rules time. Uranus is like no time. It's bringing us into the present moment. So this is innovation, right? It's your uniqueness. It's humanitarian. It's equality, right? So there's a good principle right there, creating a world based on equality. No one is higher or lower. Each one has a voice that's equal in weight. Now, equality is not determined by the external, right? That's like communism. That's like the lower frequency of equality. Equality comes from deep inside each one of us, that we're all equal, but the expression looks different. So, for example, depending on your destiny and your soul purpose, you may require more or less resources than the person next to you, right? So this is all, you can see all of this in your chart. So each one of us is essential and valuable. Each one of us is essential and valuable. So take time this week, right, as we move through this transit to get clear. What are your principles? Do they need to expand? Do they need more focus and refinement? Do you need to start acting and behaving from your principles? Right? So why is it so difficult to stand up for your principles? Well, it goes back to fear, the frequency of fear, which goes back to our childhood traumas, our childhood woundings, our childhood conditioning, which was to obey authority, never question authority, obey authority. So this is what my Healing the Father Wound webinar series is all about. It's our first authority figure is our earthly father, and this influences our relationship to outside authority. So this father wound is ancient, and it goes back through our ancestral line. You know, our true authority is the divine. And once we heal this wound, then we can honor the principle of obeying our own inner authority, not something or someone outside of us, right? So the last class has been bumped. It's on October 24th. The class one, over 3 hours, it's already ready for you to watch. All you have to do is sign up. And so next week, we're going to be looking at the chart, at your chart at the unconscious sun, to identify your unique wound and your unique gift that was passed down from your great-great-grandfather, your great-grandfather, your grandfather, into your father. So be sure to check that out, because we're really in this collective wound right now, the father wound of being able to stand up for our principles, right? So know that if you stand up for your divine principles, for what's right and true, the divine will support your choice. And this is the test. This is the big spiritual test. It's the test of faith, right? Your true father, not this false father energy on the external, but your true father, the divine father, right? So only you can do this. I can't do it for you. No one else can do it for you. You've got to do it for yourself. You have to face the unknown, the uncertainty, with total faith in the divine. Faith in big G, not little g. And who's going to be there for you? Big G will be there for you, but not until you take the leap. So let's celebrate. Let's celebrate and honor our humanity during these dark days, right? Everything that makes us human. Our compassion, our empathy, our connection, our creativity, our love for one another, our hearts, our friendships, right? Nothing can repress and hold down the human spirit. So remember that when the world seems to be at its darkest, nothing can repress the human spirit. Okay? So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for ringing the bell and sharing. And please leave your comments. I love reading them. And you can follow me on Telegram, Instagram, Odysee, and Facebook. And better yet, sign up for my free newsletter so that we can stay connected if these platforms go down. And you can find all that on the top of my information box. Okay? So enjoy your day and evening, and remember that everything's going to be okay and that you're okay. There's nothing wrong with you, right? You're not lacking anything. It's all inside you, right? It's that little divine spark that each one of us have. And this is what we need to nurture right now, right? Keep your attention off the external and keep going within and nurture that little spark and let it grow inside you. And that fire will grow in intensity, and it's going to purify you and your energetic environment from everything that's false and untrue, right? And this gives you the strength to stand up for your principles. Okay, so I hope to see you next week at the Father Room, class number 2. And class number 1's all ready for you right now. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Satnam Aloha.